All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So, actually, I haven't done this in a while, but I think I'm going to start us at the fireplace here. All right, so I really want to go over a number of just things that I have in my head, and then from there, we will jump into the normal view and we will look at the charts and the technicals and all that. I want to just kind of talk about, I think, the market a little bit more than individual tickers. Views are generally not that good, but I think we just need to look at the bigger picture before we start talking about little tickers, all right? And again, I'll go into them, I'll talk about the normal ones, but there's some interesting things happening. And I mean, you can see it on the technicals just on this view, right? I want to start at the fireplace, like I said, because look, I'm going to just give some of my opinions, right? And I'm not pretending to know more than the average person. I barely listen to any politics. I don't know anything about like macro, micro economic things and world geopolitical and world economic, connections and this and that, right? But we all basically see most of the same headlines, even if you're not looking for them, right? Some stuff is just actually a little too loud to avoid, and that's kind of what the market is saying right now, right? But I'll do the mix, and again, I'm gonna focus on the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and what I actually want to do is look at some inverse tickers on this one. All right, so sqqq, you can see it's an ultra short, and this one actually looks like it's going up, right? SH, another short, it looks like it's going up, right? And then sdow, another one that looks like it's going up. And again, these are inverses of where the Dow looks like it's heading down, right? The SP 500 looks like it's heading down, and then the NASDAQ is heading down, right? So look, I'm not an options dude. A lot of people do puts on normal tickers. That's another thing you can do, right? But hey, if the market is down, one thing you can do is look at inverse tickers, all right? Last little disclaimer, we're doing a little work in the house. I have all the cats in the room here. I don't know if they're going to make a bunch of noise. I hear one that's trying to get out right now, but they're going to be stuck here and they might not be too happy about that, and let us know. So hopefully that's not too disruptive, all right? So before we do go any further though, and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful, and I appreciate it all right? So, look, I know you're here for the technicals. I promise you we'll get here very shortly. I really want to just give us a sec to come to the fireplace. Let's just kind of talk about some stuff. And this, I always say, if you disagree with me, please feel free to, right? But hey, this is where I really don't know a lot about a lot, and I'm just kind of giving you my viewpoints, right? So if you have better ones, please share them with the team, all right? So I'm going to start with the really interesting thing that was shared on the Discord, all right? I've never seen this before, but from 1950 to 2024, all right, it was a bad February after an election year. All right. Look, I'll say I think January was a pretty good month. All right. February was a pretty bad month. And historically, it's actually been a pretty bad month, with the next ones kind of picking up. All right. So in a lot of ways, as much as anyone can say anything bad, there's always going to be data out there that shows the good, right? Everything has, the coin has 2 sides, right? And I do my best to talk about both of them, right? I think my concern really is these bigger things that are happening around us. And the first and the easiest one is the tariffs. The tariffs are supposed to start tomorrow, all right? And unless Trump can give us another extension, which he did previously, and I think we saw some pretty decent love from the market when he extended it. Right now, it's supposed to start tomorrow. All right. Hey, stop that. It's supposed to start tomorrow. And once it starts, I sincerely believe the market's going to be here. Yeah, just waiting, right? We're gonna need to see some results. And I don't know if you were watching my weed videos when we were talking about German legalization, right? But I care less about the day it starts and more about like that first quarter of data, right? Give me 3 months of info. Did the tariffs do more bad than we were expecting? Did they actually do some more good than we were expecting? Did this country maybe adjust? And there's so many different factors to where good things and bad things can happen, right? I just know the market doesn't like uncertainty, right? We're here hoping for give or take the same basically every day, because that's a lot more easy to manage and navigate and make expectations. That's why earnings are so crazy, right? You have no idea what they're about to say when they stand on the microphone and give their updates, right? So uncertainty is never a good thing for the market. And I think this level of uncertainty is crazy, all right? From there, I mean, there has been a lot more news and focus about the conflicts going on in the world, right? I don't know if people are actually calling them wars. I'm not trying to say anything politically insensitive or this and that. Again, I really don't know a lot, right? But there is some crazy things I am seeing. The word World War III, like the phrase World War III, used way more than I would feel comfortable ever seeing, right? And again, we're not here to talk about politics. We're not here to talk about what side we're on. That's not the point of this, right? But when there is, and look, let's also take a step back. There has always been conflict, right? There are nations that are under dictatorships right now, right? And hey, a lot of them don't get a lot of news coverage and this and that, but that's for sure happening, right? There are genocides and there is a lot of bad in the world every single trading day. I think the headlines, the focus, the attention, the everything is just a little bit more. There's a little bit more like tariff sprinkle into that as well. And I mean, it's this interesting perfect storm that, look, I believe, like, also, you got to take images with a grain of salt when you find them on the internet, right? I sincerely have no idea who this at dude is, what this company is. I have no idea, the validity of that source right there, right? I can make something called Chart Reader's Research Company, and it just needs some dude at the house, right? So, you get the point. So, I don't know how real this is. What I do know is that uncertainty that I was talking about, and then from there, the charts in front of us, right? So 745, this is where I'll at least make the technical chapter right here. And hey, the indices are not looking that good. And really, the Dow Jones is probably the strongest of the three right now, right? Dow Jones for 7 days has been holding that 100 moving average. You could probably say it's been holding the cluster of the 50 and the 100, but this is at least up here as opposed to you just saw the NASDAQ all the way down here at the 200. And then I think SP 500, SPX, is a little bit in the middle of it, right? So Dow Jones is up here, NASDAQ's right here, S&P 500 is right here, right? You can see, and I actually didn't intend on ending here, but all three of them have really low RSIs, all right? And when you're looking at an index, I'm always expecting these to be as textbook as they can be. An RSI textbook number is you go down to 30, you go up to 80, you come down to 30, and you stay in that little window right there, right? Most of the time you'll go from 30 to 50, and the question is, can you break 50 and go up to the 80, or are you going to go 30, 50, 30, 50, 30, 50, or vice versa, 80, 50, 80, 50, 80, 50, right? So right now we're down in this 30 range. You can see exactly it's at 31. My little line right here is at 26. Are we going to see a bounce recovery or are we not? My issue becomes as I zoom out, right? When you look at the weekly, you can see the S&P 500 is just barely under the 8 and the 20, right? When you look at the NASDAQ on the weekly, we've actually made our way to basically the 50 right there. And again, when you look at the Dow Jones, it's kind of that in between. It hasn't quite just locked. This porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. This one's just right, right? They're 1, 2, 3 from each other, right? And when we zoom out even more, That's where things look realistic. And I do apologize, there's way too many lines, right? But you can see on the monthly, we're basically holding the 8. And you got to remember, this is the first trading day of this month, right? This is the first Monday of March. So this is a brand new, fresh candle. We got a really interesting doji on the last candle as well, right? But Dow Jones is sitting on it at the moment, right? S&P 500 is sitting on it at the moment with an even tighter, even cleaner textbook doji candle on the last month, right? And then as we look at NASDAQ, boom, look at that. I would say a little bit uglier of a doji, but hey, I would still call it a doji, right? And this has been actually back to back to back dojis. And this one's actually already a little bit lower on the monthly on the 8 moving average, right? I haven't talked about the golden line yet. I haven't talked about the 200 moving average on the daily yet, but you can see the symmetry here. Obviously they're not exactly the same, but they're in that range, right? The one thing I don't know, maybe NASDAQ will bounce right here because we are on the 200. It could still bounce to catch up to the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones too, right? So maybe that's a little bit of a realistic, but again, I'm talking about days here, right? When I'm zooming out to weeks to months, the worries grow, right? Let's just stay on this view real quick. When we look at the weekly, we're barely at a 41 RSI. When we look at the monthly, we're still at a 70 RSI, right? When we look at the S&P 500, monthly is that same 70, and they both kind of have that same dip. Like it wasn't that long ago, it was actually in the 40s, right? And that's the thing I was talking about. You go 50 80, 50 80, 50 80, right? This one's just 40 70, 40 70, right? But we need, look, I'm bullish in general over the 8 and the 20, right? My concern simply is the fall from the 8 to the 20. That's a little bit of a big fall right there, actually. That's a little bit more than a 10% move, right? We're losing about $500 right there. Losing 10% on an index in a 10% potentially, all this is potentially, right? But that's a big impact, all right? And to me, there's really two. Look, I'm never here to tell you what to do with your money, right? But to me, the smart plays are either do nothing, you just take your money out to the side, you work on your strategy, you learn a new strategy, you sit and you hold and you wait for the conditions to get better, or let's start looking at the inverses, right? There's so many of them. I'm only looking at 3, but you can do a ultra short of the QQQ. There are 2x shorts, there are 3x shorts. There's a lot of ways you can play this. But just like any regular ticker, this is just a random 4 letters. This one will go up as the NASDAQ goes down, where QQQ looks like this. SQQQ looks the exact, and hey, you gotta remember this, SQQ has been doing so good, right? You better believe SQQQ has been doing so bad, right? The thing is, when the moment's right, that's where you look at this. Believe me, SQQ is something you never hold for a long time, right? But this thing for days, weeks, months, however long the NASDAQ suffers, this will thrive, right? When I'm looking at SH, right? Again, you're going to short the S&P 500. As the S&P 500 struggles, this is just going to go. If I'm thinking weeks, maybe a month of bad over there, this is going to do week or month of good over here, right? And then last one more time, what was it? Is SDOW. Sorry, I got a phone call. SDOW. Look at these. I gotta take this call. Things are scary. I'm not here pretend. You can make money in a bad market too, right? There's always ways to make money. For me, I would rather take advantage when the ocean is calm than try to sail deep when it's just giant 50-foot waves. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.